Talking about more exponent properties, okay? In this lesson, the first main property that we're going to talk about is going to be when you are dividing. So if you have x raised to the a divided by x raised to the b, well, you need to think if you were multiplying, you added exponents. So if you're dividing is the opposite of multiplying. So you should do the opposite of adding, which is subtracting. So you will notice that it says take x raised to the a minus b. So it's always top exponent minus bottom exponent. Okay, so if I look at my first example here, I would start off by doing x top exponent minus bottom exponent. So x raised to the 5 minus 3, which gives me x to the second. Done. Over here, I get k top exponent minus bottom exponent. So 8 minus 3 would give me k to the 5th power. Okay, next problem. Top exponent minus bottom exponent. So that would be 3 minus 3, which gives me x to the 0 power. And if you have x to the 0 power, that means you really don't have any x's. So what do you think your answer would be in this problem if you have no x's? Well, your answer would be, what's that coefficient? So what do I have in front of x to the 0 power? That is a 1. So that means if there are no x's, then that means your answer is just the coefficient, which is 1. Okay, next one. Now we're going to start putting more than one variable on the top and bottom. So problems like these, we're still just going to do A, and then we'll do B. So for A, I would do 6 minus 2. For B, I would do 4 minus 3. And this would give me a to the 4th power, b to the 1st power. Now, b to the 1st power, you can either write it as b raised to the 1, or you could leave the 1 off, okay? Because if you don't write an exponent, then that means the exponent is a 1. Okay, so either way is acceptable. So now let's also throw a coefficient in there. So on your coefficients, we're just going to divide those like normal. So what's 6 divided by 2? And you would say 3. For x's, subtract your exponents. So 4 minus 3 is x to the 1st, or just x. Y, you would have 5 minus 5, which 5 minus 5 would be y to the 0. Y to the 0 means no y's, so don't even write down y at all. I'm just going to leave it out of the problem. And then for z, my top exponent is 10 minus, if I don't have a bottom exponent, don't forget that that means the bottom exponent is a 1. So 10 minus 1 is 9. So your final answer should be 3x, or you could say x to the 1st, z to the 9th. Okay, next one. Coefficients, divide them out. 14 divided by 7 is 2. I'm going to put in magic little ones for any of my exponents that are missing. So for a, I would have 8 minus 1, which would be a to the 7th. For b, I would have 2 minus 1, which would be b to the 1st, or just b. And c, 7 minus 7 is b to, or c to the 0. C to the 0 means no c's, so don't even write a c down at all. So the final answer is 2a to the 7th b. So now what we're going to do is we're going to throw in some of our old exponent rules or properties from our first lesson in with the new one for today. So hopefully you guys notice when you look at this fraction on the top, you'll see that it is in parentheses and you have an exponent outside the parentheses. So we are going to focus on that first. And power to a power, you multiply the exponents. So for 3, 1 times 2 is 2. And for x, 5 times 2 is 10. And 3 to the second power, well, 3 to the second power is really 9. So you get 9x to the 10th over 27x to the third. Now it looks like our new property rule. So let's go ahead and divide out our coefficients. 9 divided by 27. And if you take 9 divided by 27 on your calculator, you will get 0.33333, but we're not allowed to write down a decimal answer. Okay, if you have a decimal, we want you to keep that answer as a fraction. So on your calculator, go ahead and divide that out to a fraction. Or if you just use your fraction key to start with and you do 9 fraction 27, it'll automatically leave it as a fraction. But hopefully everybody says that that is 1/3. And then we're going to subtract our exponents. So that would be 10 minus 3. So we're looking at 1/3 x to the 7th. Or if you want to write your answer as 1x to the 7th power over 3, that's the same thing. You can either put the x to the 7th off to the side of the fraction, or you can put it on the top of the fraction. Okay, next one. Once again, start with the top because it has the parentheses. So multiply your exponents. 2 to the 3rd, a to the 6th, b to the 12th. And then you're going to say, oh, 2 to the 3rd. 2 to the 3rd is really 8. So 8, a to the 6th, b to the 12th. And if you're not sure how I got 2 to the 3rd, remember on your calculator, type in 2, hit what looks like a little roof of a house. Caret key is what we call it. And then 3. And that would be over 4, a to the 3rd, b to the 7th. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Subtract your exponents. So we're looking at the final answer to be 2a to the 3rd and b to the 5th. Okay, so as we're moving on to the back, we're just making the problems a little bit more complicated, adding more stuff to it, but we're going to just go through and do the process once at a time. So the first problem on the back, when you look at the parentheses on top, you're going to notice that there's no powers outside of them. So we're really not going to do anything with multiplying exponents. Okay. So here I'm just going to think, oh, 2 parentheses means we're timesing. So I'm going to times my coefficient, which is 9 and 4. And then what do we do if we're multiplying? What do we do with exponents? Hopefully everybody says add them. So we're going to put in our magic little ones here. So for x, we're going to do 5 plus 1. And for y, we're going to do 6 plus 1. So we're looking at 36 x to the 6th, y to the 7th, over 6x squared, y to the 4th. So now we're just going to divide our coefficients. So 36 divided by 6 is 6. And then we're going to subtract our exponents, top minus bottom. So we're looking at the final answer of 6x to the 4th power, y to the 3rd power. Next problem, straight across from it. when you look at this one, you're going to notice, oh, there is an exponent outside the parentheses. So we do have to deal with this part that I'm putting around in a green box first. So power inside, power outside, you're going to multiply. So we're looking at 10 to the second. A, 1 times 2 is 2, and the same thing for B. And then we're going to multiply that. Our second parentheses on top doesn't have a power outside of it, so I'm just going to lose the parentheses. And I'm focusing on the numerator, not the denominator yet, so just keep working out the numerator. So here I'm going to do 10 squared times 2. So use your calculator, take 10 squared times 2, and you should get 200. And then if you're multiplying, you add exponents. So A would be 2 plus 4, and B would be 2 plus 3. Giving me 200, A to the 6th, B to the 5th. Now I'm going to take that numerator and I'm going to put it over the denominator, which was 4, A to the 5th, B. So now take 200 divided by 4 on your calculator, which gives you 50. And then we're going to subtract our exponents. So A would be 6 minus 5, and B would be 5 minus, don't forget to put the magic little 1 there. So we're looking at 50, A to the first, or A, B to the 4th. Done. Okay, now we're going to make it even more complicated by putting times something off to the side of our fraction. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with the top of the fraction. So once again, power to a power u times. So we're looking at negative 6 raised to the 2nd, x raised to the 8th, and y raised to the 12th. So don't forget, power to a power u times. On the bottom, I'm going to get negative 3 raised to the 2nd, x raised to the 6th, and y raised to the 10th. Okay, negative 6 raised to the 2nd is positive 36. On the bottom, negative 3 raised to the 2nd is 9. And 36 divided by 9 is 4. And then if you are dividing, you're going to subtract your exponents. So for x, 8 minus 6 is x to the 2nd. And for y, 12 minus 10 is y to the 2nd. And then we're going to multiply that by what we have off to the side of my fraction, which is 7 x to the 2nd, y to the 2nd. So multiply your coefficients. 4 times 7 is 28. And if you're multiplying, you add your exponents. So add them. So x to the 2nd, or x to the 2nd plus x to the 2nd is x to the 4th. And for y, 2 plus 2 is 4. So don't forget, when you're multiplying, you add your exponents. Okay, last one. This one is a little bit different because do you notice that there is parentheses over the top and bottom fraction all together with a power of 2 outside of it? So that means this little power of 2 right here has to go for the top and the bottom of the fraction. So remember, power to a power times. So 4 to the 2nd, x to the 14th. And to do the same thing on the bottom because this parentheses is over the entire thing. So that would be 6 to the 2nd and x to the 2nd. 4 to the 2nd is 16. 6 to the 2nd is 36. 16, fraction key 36, or if you divide, you're going to get a decimal. Just make sure you convert the decimal over to the fraction, and you should get the fraction of 4/9. If you're dividing, you're going to subtract your exponents. So you're looking at 4/9 x to the 14 minus 2, which is 12. And then we're going to multiply that by 27x to the 4th power. So on your calculator, take 4/9 times 27, which should give you 12. And remember, when you're multiplying, you're going to add your exponents. So 12 plus 4 would give me x to the 16th. Now, what I would like you to do is I would like you to do questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 down below by yourself, and we will chit-chat about them in class. See you soon.